This is actually, of all the times I've been here, for extraordinary performances of one kind or another, including sport and culture. This is the very first time I've ever been asked to stand and sing for my supper. At a time when I don't think I'm breaching any confidences when I say that making the sporting case for bringing the greatest celebration of humanity and endeavour to your own backyard was tough enough. But actually to have you guys out there collectively as the IoD who signed up as key supporters, and individually those of you who gave up your time and that crucial asset that you have, your expertise and your guidance in helping us put this together, I am to this day deeply indebted. But the very first time that I raced against Steve Ovett, who was a great friend, great rival, and probably the most talented athlete I ever competed against, was in the European Championships in Prague. And I was far from the complete product. And I use the word product because my father was a production engineer, he was my coach, and he tended to see things as most engineers do from first principles. There's that sort of obsessional belief that if you take it apart and you put it back together again, it'll actually work slightly better. And on most occasions, he did. And I went through the first lap. For those of you who are track and field aficionados, I won't bore you, but I went through the first lap, the second faster than anybody's ever gone through the 800s, 400 metres at the halfway point. And this tactic was working perfectly until I entered the finishing straight, and then the inevitable happened. The world started to cave in. And so for us, the next 3 years is very clear. It is to go on driving, to maintain and cling as firmly as we can to that vision, because that's what got us across the line in Singapore, and that is what will deliver us the best games ever in London in 2012. And our teams not only wake up to deliver that, they actually believe that that is what they're embarking upon. And I suppose if there is one message I would like to leave today, it is that you don't have to be wearing the T-shirt, you don't have to be a sponsor to make a difference and to make the impact that we want this to have. And it has to happen in your own backyard. I've always been a great believer in the concept of you not picking a sport picks you. For me, it was very simple. I just love running. Running was still what I do for my relaxation. It's where intractable issues that you're sometimes throwing around in your mind for a couple of days become very clear once you've been running. And I think a lot of runners will tell you that. So there are some very big challenges, but natural talent has a lot to do with it. But I'm a great believer that natural talent on its own is not enough, and you do need to have properly resourced organizations and structures to sometimes in the initial phases paint a few pictures and then to really map out the fine detail to the point where an individual athlete in their mid-20s is able to do it themselves. I'm actually more concerned about the way politics has generally developed in the last 15 years, where I'm not sure what talents most people come in with anyway. And I think it's really important. I don't think there is a template for politicians, but I do want to see some sign that they have experienced the realities of life. We've raised, even in this current climate, about £500 million worth of sponsorship. We are probably further ahead than any host city's ever been at this stage. That's not with a vestige of complacency, because this is the most complex piece of project management any city ever undertakes.